Hi, welcome to another episode of I Don't Have the Answers, but let's talk about it anyway. I'm your host, Tim Four, and this week, before we get started, I wanted to take a moment and ask, how are you doing? Honestly, sincerely, how are you? Now, I ask this not just because it's the polite thing to say, but because I know that there's some of you out there that aren't hearing that enough. You've got your head down, you're so focused on all the new responsibilities and goals and all the new things and your new roles that you have in your life that you're not asking each other that very important question. How are you doing? And even if you are getting asked, you don't know how to answer that correctly. I know that for 3 out of 5 days this week, if you asked me that question, I would have told you honestly, I am stressed to the gills. I am one hair away from being overwhelmed. And that I have consumed more wine this week than I have in quite a while. You know, so to speak. No, that's literal. That's straight up. But we're not asking each other. Well, not sincerely. We're all saying, I hope you do well. We're all saying, be safe. We're all checking up on each other. But is it legit? Are we really asking and waiting for a response? I don't know. So I wanted to start off and ask, how are you doing? If you're interested in answering the question to me, go ahead and comment. Throw a comment down below, or you can email me back. There's all different ways you can reach out to me. But I really want to know, how are you doing? Now, this week's show, I want to talk a little bit about some industries that you wouldn't think of as being so severely impacted by this pandemic. And I bring this up because a really close friend of mine dropped a bombshell on me the other day that I wouldn't have known until I read the news later. But for the first time in 50 years, the San Diego Comic-Con, which is the iconic Comic-Con that people plan vacations around, has been canceled. And that's a big deal for a lot of people in an industry where you wouldn't really think would have been impacted so heavily. But you think there are artists out there, actors, filmmakers, makeup artists, that are all doing nothing, sitting on their hands, waiting. On top of that, you have all of the vendors, all of the merchandisers, everybody else out of work. All the movies that were going to be coming out that we talked about a few episodes ago, they're not coming out. So the swag that was going to be handed out or the merchandise that was going to be sold can't be sold. So there's a lot of companies out there that have inventory on hand just sitting there, dead inventory, waiting for the day that they're going to be able to sell it. You have artists that have been told, hold off on the work that you're doing right now because we're not going to be publishing that stuff for later on down the line. You have people that were relying on events like the Comic-Con to pay their bills for the next 3 to 4 months because that's the kind of revenue that comes in through those kind of conventions. You have musicians that are taking serious hits right now. Their music is turning to a different direction. Their message is focused on one thing. How playable is that song going to be next year, the year after, 5 years from now? I know a lot of people, when they're listening to a song, they don't exactly think about the longevity of that particular song, but the artists do. They have to stay relevant, and are they really going to want to be putting that song out there that it's only going to be for this short time? But if they don't, are they not relevant now? So these are a lot of industries, and these are a lot of things that people don't focus their attention on. Right now, they're rightfully so, we are focusing on the medical industry, the banking industry, and law enforcement. Those are the big three right now that are up in the front line dealing with this. But there's a lot of other things in the background that are being affected as well. You've got retail stores, the grocers. Those are doing pretty well because everybody still needs to eat. And you've got grocery store clerks that are showing up every day dealing with the public, not knowing if the next person through their line is going to be somebody who's going to get them sick. They're taking every precaution and they're doing the best that they can, but you know that there are some people out there that just are not going to make it through this unscathed. Then you have the small mom and pop stores that aren't able to open up their doors, that are having difficulty doing the curbside carryout because their goods and services don't exactly blend well with that kind of delivery of their product. There are a lot of other people that are behind the scenes each and every day that are being impacted by this pandemic. I want you to take a moment to think about them, your friends, your loved ones that you may not otherwise be considering as such an impactful industry, and ask them how they're doing. Now, I have seen an increase of people saying, support small businessmen, buy local. That's great. And I totally encourage it. And I don't want you to forget that after this. It is going to take a great deal of time to recover. That first surge when people go back to buying, when they go back to stores again, that's going to be great. But for every day that we're closed down, that they can't open up for business regularly, it's going to take that many more days of extra boosted sales to get them back to where they were. There are a lot of these banks and these small businesses that are taking out small business loans. Help them pay them back faster by going and purchasing their goods, by hiring them for their services when it comes time. Now, I'm not saying that you don't go and you don't reach out to the larger businesses, because we're going to still need them too. But there's a lot of industries out there that are going to need our help. Don't forget them. Last topic I want to talk about a little bit is parents and their kids. This has been a very trying thing like this last couple of weeks. We're teaching our children instead of sending them off to be taught. We are doing things, not just our own jobs from home, but now we're helping to entertain and educate and support. It's a lot. I know it is for me, especially if you have little ones. Keep doing it. Keep putting the effort in. It is going to be noticed. It is going to be rewarded. I had a wonderful moment this past Friday. I'm sitting here doing the same thing I do every day, helping my son read through one of his books, and I see his eyes light up when it finally clicked. And he started to read these words that he'd never read before and understood. I almost got a tear in my eye watching him get so excited about what was looking like, I guess, Egyptian hieroglyphics, but they finally started to form words, and he was able to speak them out loud and understand, not just looking at the picture. And that came from me doing the same thing I did every day, helping him. His mother and I, we pride ourselves on doing everything we can to give him the education that he needs. But just those little glimpses that what we're doing is working, it's phenomenal. So don't give up. Keep trying. And if you need to, talk to somebody. Talk to another parent. Talk to another stressed out dad. And find out what can we do to do this a little better, do this a little easier. I know that for me, I'm not a last minute kind of teacher. I plan everything out down to the minute. It's the only way I'm going to make it through my day with conference calls and emails and teaching all at the same time. So talk to one another, help each other out, and understand that you're getting through. It is working. I don't know how much longer we're going to be doing this. I don't know how much longer we're going to be in our homes fearful of what's to come. But I do know that we will make it. We will make it through to the other side. And what you're doing matters. So keep doing it. Keep being safe. Keep following all the suggestions that they have. And come out the other side and be proud of the accomplishments you've made. I know that I'm proud of some of the little things that I've started doing. I only left my house one time this week, which for me is a lot. I mean, I work from home even when out situations like this, but I usually get out at least once a day. But my car moved once this week. And that was to go to a produce market that I know was not going to be very busy, get my produce and come back. On top of that, I tried my hand for the first time at doing home brewing beer. Now I'm telling you that not to be all proud about doing something different, but to tell you that you can find time for yourselves to do something positive, to try something new. And I urge you to do that, because the alternative, which is stressing over what we have no control over and focusing 900% on work, is not healthy. Find something constructive to do. And remember to give yourself some of that time that you're dedicating to everywhere else. As I've said many, 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 many times before, I don't have the answers. But I fully intend to talk about this and anything else. Thank you for joining me this week, and if you have any questions whatsoever about anything I've talked about before, or something you want to have me talk about in the future, drop me a line. You know how to get a hold of me. If you don't, read the comments on this video or any other way that you found me. I'm sure you'll get a clue. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.